My mom laughed the night my house burned down. Not a nervous laugh. Not shock. A real one. Sharp, amused, like she'd just watched something satisfying finally happen. That sound is still burned into my memory more clearly than the flames. I was 29, working financial operations for a mid-sized firm, renting a small duplex in East Austin. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. Paid my bills on time. I'd stayed out of trouble. I'd done everything you're told earns safety. That night I went to bed in an oversized t-shirt, phone charging on the nightstand, thinking about spreadsheets I'd have to clean up in the morning. Then the smoke alarm screamed. I remember my feet hitting the floor barefoot, the air already thick, my throat burning before my brain fully caught up. I grabbed my phone, my wallet, nothing else. Outside, the night looked unreal. Orange reflections flickering across parked cars, neighbors standing frozen on the sidewalk, sirens cutting through the heat. I stood there shaking while the fire crawled through the roof, watching years of quiet effort turn into black smoke. I didn't cry. I think my body went numb before my heart could catch up. When my family arrived, it felt less like help and more like an audience. My mom, Diana, stepped out first, phone already in hand. She'd built a following online as a relatable perfect mom. Neutral colors, morning routines, captions about gratitude. My dad, Patrick, followed, arms crossed like he was inspecting a bad renovation job. Sophie, my older sister, immediately angled herself toward the flashing lights, adjusting her hair. Evan, my younger brother, hovered behind them, already scrolling. They didn't run to me. They didn't ask if I was hurt, and no one noticed I was barefoot on cold asphalt. Instead, my mom laughed. Actually laughed and said, "Finally, Karma torched the trash." I turned toward her, waiting for the punchline that never came. My dad shook his head slowly, disappointed, like I'd failed a test. "You brought this on yourself," he said. "Some people are just cursed." Sophie whispered something about the lighting being kind of cinematic, then asked Evan if he could get a shot with the fire trucks in the background. Evan nodded and started filming, narrating under his breath. "This is what happens," one of them said. "I don't even remember who. When you walk away from family." They filmed the flames. They filmed the firefighters. They filmed themselves. They debated captions. Hashtags. Whether the smoke made the scene too dark or edgy in a good way. It felt like an unplanned photo shoot themed around my loss. Still, no one asked if I was okay. No one offered me a jacket. Or shoes. Or a place to sleep. Standing there, I realized something quiet and irreversible. If I cried, they'd record it. If I screamed, it would become content. If I begged, it would be edited into proof that they'd been right about me all along. Though I didn't give them anything, I memorized my mother's laugh. The way my father avoided my eyes. The way my siblings smiled for the camera while my life smoldered behind them. I opened my phone, called a rideshare, and waited at the edge of the crowd. When the car arrived, I got in without saying goodbye. No confrontation. No speech. Just silenced as we pulled away. The flames shrank in the rearview mirror. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know how I'd rebuild. I only knew one thing with terrifying clarity: I would never let them see me burn again. 1 year later, I came back into their lives without flames, without gasoline, without touching a single match, and still managed to watch their carefully curated world burn without me. And the night my house burned and they laughed, all those little favors suddenly stopped feeling so little. Looking back, the fire didn't come out of nowhere. It just exposed a pattern I'd been living inside for years. One I'd normalized because it was quieter than fighting it. From the outside, the Carters looked polished, aspirational, the kind of family people commented on with heart emojis. My mom, Diana, built an entire online brand around being a relatable perfect mom. Her kitchen was always sunlit, counters spotless, fresh flowers positioned just slightly off-center so it felt effortless instead of staged. Sunday dinners appeared every week like clockwork. Golden roast chicken, linen napkins, captions about gratitude and holding your people close. What no one saw was how much of her life existed only for the invisible audience on the other side of the screen. Every moment was a setup. Every emotion was curated. If something didn't fit the sitcom aesthetic, it was edited out, or blamed on someone else. Mess never belonged in Diana's world. And if mess appeared anyway, it had to be punished. My dad, Patrick, preached hustle the way some people preach religion. Personal responsibility. No excuses. If you really wanted it, you'd figure it out. He said this constantly, usually while unpaid bills sat unopened on the counter, envelopes curling at the edges like they'd given up waiting. He ran a home renovation business that was always about to scale. He talked about discipline while avoiding his own numbers, talked about grit while letting problems pile up until someone else quietly handled them. Hypocrisy wasn't something he recognized. It was something he stood on. Sophie, my older sister, lived entirely in the aesthetic layer of life. She planned weddings and events, champagne flutes, fairy lights, color palettes named things like linen dusk. Her captions were full of words like intentional, elevated, curated joy. Behind the scenes, she avoided anything heavy. Budgets stressed her out. Contracts annoyed her. Consequences were for other people. She wanted life to feel beautiful without ever having to understand how it stayed standing. Evan, the youngest, was always on the verge of something big. Crypto trades, electronics flips, arbitrage schemes he explained too fast. He was perpetually one good week away from making it, and one bad week away from needing help. Again, there was always a reason. The market turned. A deal fell through. Someone screwed him over. He believed in shortcuts the way my dad believed in grit, loudly, confidently, and without evidence. And then there was me. I moved into that small East Austin duplex because it was quiet. Because for the first time I could hear myself think. I'd escaped the crowded suburban house where noise never stopped and boundaries never existed. The duplex wasn't impressive, but it was calm. It didn't perform. It didn't ask me to be anything other than functional. Professionally, I worked financial operations for a tech startup. My entire job was making sure other people didn't accidentally set money on fire. I built systems, closed gaps. I spotted risks before they became disasters. The irony still stings. Those skills were considered essential everywhere except inside my own family. At home, I wasn't the finance person. I was just available. Them why mom would text screenshots of brand deal emails. Can you just skim this? So boring. She never read her own contracts, never asked questions before signing. She just wanted reassurance that everything was fine. And if it wasn't, she wanted me to fix it quietly so the image stayed intact. My dad handed me grocery bags full of receipts like they were trash he'd finally decided to throw away. Just make sure the IRS stays happy, he'd say, like compliance was a vibe. No context, no gratitude, just expectation. Sophie shoved her laptop toward me with wedding budgets open and numbers bleeding red. These make my head hurt, she'd laugh. Can you fix it so it looks cute but not terrifying? She wanted the problem solved and softened, reality filtered through pastel fonts. Evan's texts always started the same way. Hey, quick question. They were never quick. They always ended with I'll pay you back next month. He never did .it first. I told myself I didn't mind helping. It felt good to be useful. To be the calm one. The reliable one. The person everyone turned to when things got messy. I liked being the one who could handle it, who didn't panic, who kept things from falling apart. But slowly something shifted. They never learned. They never tried. They treated me like an app. Open when needed, closed when inconvenient. No curiosity about how things worked. No interest in growing. Just endless consumption of my attention, my skills, my time. So I started tracking it. Not to invoice them. Not to confront them. I just needed proof, for myself, that I created a fresh Notion page and titled it Family Balance. I logged every tax form I fixed. Every budget I reworked. Every medical reminder I set. Every bill I paid before it went to collections. Every loan Evan promised to repay. Every late-night spreadsheet Sophie just needed real quick. It wasn't petty. It was survival. I needed evidence that I wasn't imagining the weight. That the exhaustion had a source. That the resentment didn't come from nowhere. Seeing it all in one place was brutal. Hundreds of hours. Thousands of dollars protected, redirected, quietly saved. Emotional labor disguised as favors. Responsibility disguised as love. That on camera, we were the Carters. A strong, united family chasing big dreams. Off camera, I was the invisible safety net under everyone else's tightrope. And once I saw that clearly, I couldn't unsee it. Especially not the night my house burned, when the one person who'd always caught everyone else was standing barefoot in the dark, and no one thought to reach back. I woke up the morning after the fire in a cheap hotel off the highway, the kind with popcorn ceilings and curtains that never quite close. My phone was on the nightstand, face down. For a few seconds I forgot everything, the smoke, the sirens, the laughter. Then I reached for it out of habit. No missed calls, no texts asking if I was okay. No, did you sleep? No, we're here if you need us. Nothing from my parents. Nothing from my siblings. But there were notifications. Evan's message came through first. A blurry photo taken from behind police tape. My duplex blackened and hollow. He'd lined up flame emojis under it like decorations. Home sweet home. I stared at the screen until the words stopped making sense. My hand actually twitched, like my body was preparing to throw the phone at the wall. I set it down instead, pressed my palms into the stiff hotel mattress, and counted my breaths. Then a coworker forwarded me Sophie's Instagram story, a brunch table. Mimosas catching the light. Avocado toast arranged just so. Her caption floated above it in perfect minimalist font. Some people burn bridges and then act surprised when they have nowhere to go. IT was already getting reactions. Someone else sent me my mom's feed, a carousel of cozy family night photos, taken the evening of the fire. Handles. Mail. The living room staged like nothing had happened at all. The comments were full of goals and love this family and heart emojis stacked 10 deep. I didn't cry, I felt something colder. I opened the fire department report. Downloaded the insurance claim forms. Pulled up my email. If they were going to pretend this didn't matter, I would make sure it did. At least on paper. I slipped into the same mode I'd always used to save everyone else. Methodical. Uploaded photos. Filled out forms. Attached documents. Sent emails. I did the boring grown-up work no one ever saw and everyone depended on. And my family. They disappeared and no one offered a couch. No one suggested I stay. Just for a few nights. The same people who preached family first went silent the second it cost them comfort or inconvenience. The first real help came from someone who barely knew me, a coworker I'd grabbed lunch with, maybe twice texted. Hey, I heard about the fire. If you need a place to crash or help with paperwork, I'm here. IT wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. It was just human. And it hurt more than anything my family had said. Week 1, the insurance adjuster moved the claim forward. I answered questions. Provided receipts I'd somehow managed to save digitally. Week 2, I found a small studio in South Congress. Thin walls. Creaky floors. Nothing glamorous. But it had a lock, that a door no one else had a key to. My first night there. I sat on the floor surrounded by borrowed furniture and boxes that still smelled faintly of smoke. The room echoed when I moved. It felt temporary, fragile, but it was mine. I opened my laptop and pulled up Family Balance. I added a new section. The fire. Date. What was lost? What was said? Exact quotes, typed carefully so I couldn't gaslight myself later. Finally, karma torched the trash. Some people are just cursed. Family laughed, took pictures, left notes at the bottom. No one offered help. Rebuilt alone. Seeing it written down did something to me, so I went further. I listed everything I'd done for them over the years. Every budget. Every tax issue. Every crisis quietly smoothed over. Then I listed what they'd done for me. The column stayed almost empty. The balance wasn't just off, it was upside down. They called me cursed. The weak link. Problem. The one who always made things complicated. But the numbers didn't lie. Without me holding their finances, schedules and plans together, their version of perfect wouldn't last a month. And that's when the anger shifted, not into shouting. Not into tears. Into calculation. That thought didn't feel like revenge yet. It felt like a seed, a quiet question growing in the back of my mind. If they could stand there and laugh while my life burned, why was I still making sure theirs didn't? On the surface, my life started to look normal again. I settled into the tiny South Congress studio. Built a new routine. Early mornings, clean spreadsheets, grocery runs that didn't involve anyone else's emergencies. At work, things stayed steady. I kept my head down, did my job, and for the first time in years, none of my tabs were open for my family. But they didn't disappear. They just changed the shape of the cruelty. It started in the group chat. Evan sent a meme first, a dumpster fire with confetti photoshopped over it. The caption read, "Rachel's housewarming party." A second later, Sophie reacted with laughing emojis. "Careful," she added. "She might burn the Wi-Fi next." Mom chimed in last. "Don't be mean," she wrote. Then, almost immediately, "Remember, we don't say that in public." That was the tell. The problem wasn't the joke. It was the screenshot risked. My birthday came a few weeks later. Sophie posted first. "Happy birthday, sis. No candles this year, right?" The gift she sent was a cake with those exploding firework candles that crackle when you light them. Everyone laughed. No one asked about my new place. No one offered to take me to dinner. The fire had become a running joke, something they pulled out whenever the conversation needed a punchline. They never asked how I was sleeping. Never asked if I'd replaced anything. Never checked if I was still dealing with insurance. But the requests, those never stopped. My dad forwarded an email from his accountant with the subject line in all caps, "Urgent missing documents." His message underneath read, "Can you make sense of this? I've got too many jobs going on." Sophie followed with a wedding crisis. A budget spreadsheet attached. Numbers bleeding red. "This planner I hired is useless," she wrote. "Can you clean this up before I send it to the venue? I'll owe you one." Evan sent screenshots next. His bank balance, a crypto app mid-crash. "If I sell this now and pay off this card," he asked, "will I still have enough to restock next month?" Then my mom called, voice syrupy. "I got this letter about insurance and lab work," she said. "Can you log in and just handle it? I hate those portals. They're so confusing." Nothing had changed. The fire never really happened in their minds. I was still the walking calculator, the scheduler, the crisis hotline. The only difference was me. And even that they didn't acknowledge. They never said please. Never said thank you. Never asked if I had time. They assumed I ran into my mom at Whole Foods one afternoon. Her cart was full of organic produce. Phone already in her hand. She was talking to the camera about resetting for the week when she spotted me. Her face brightened like she just found a better angle. "You should come by for Sunday dinner," she said. "It's been too long. The followers keep asking why you're never in the videos." I told her I was busy. Her smile faltered. "You're missing out on family memories," she said, like my absence was the problem, not everything that had happened before it. A few days later, Sophie's fiancé, Mark, texted me. He tried to sound reasonable. "I know they joke a lot," he wrote. "Yeah, they went too far the night of the fire. I'm not defending that. But Sophie really needs your help with the wedding stuff. She's overwhelmed." It was the same pull I'd felt my whole life. Help them or protect myself. I sent the spreadsheet fixes. Then I logged the time under a new tag in family balance. After fire. Scrolling through it later felt like holding up a mirror they refused to look into. They called me cursed, the weak link, the punchline. But I kept their bills straight, their events budgeted, their healthcare scheduled, their side hustles afloat. They used my worst night as a meme, and still expected me to save them from the boring details. The joke was starting to sound less funny. At least to me, to them, though. I was still the punchline, and the backup plan rolled into one. The one-year anniversary hit harder than I expected. Before the fire, I still believed, stupidly, that if something truly bad happened, my family would show up. That whatever our issues were, there was a line they wouldn't cross. After the fire, I had video proof burned into my head of exactly who they were when it mattered. The trigger came quietly, the way most real turning points do. Sophie posted a photo from a rooftop bar downtown. She and Evan leaned against the railing, city skyline glowing behind them, drinks lifted just enough to catch the light. The caption read, "1 year since we let go of toxic energy and started living for real. Some bridges are better burned." Evan commented with a fire emoji. My mom replied, "Proud of our growth." My dad gave it a thumbs up. They never said my name. They didn't have to. That I was the bridge. I was the toxic energy that they'd watched my life burn, literally, then rewrote it into a self-help quote about their healing. Something hardened in my chest when I saw it. Not fresh hurt. Not shock. Just clarity. I opened family balance. The page loaded slowly like it was bracing itself. Years of entries stretched down the screen. Categories stacked one after another. Dad's taxes, Mom's medical, Sophie's weddings, Evan's loans. I'd added the fire months ago, but I'd never really looked at the whole picture at once. This time I did. I started with my dad. Dozens of entries. Setting up expense tracking for his renovation business. Filing quarterly taxes. Fixing misclassified income. Cleaning up unpaid invoices. Sending reminders so penalties wouldn't hit. Work he would have paid a professional thousands for. Every request sounded the same. You're good with numbers, right? Then my mom. Insurance portals logged and relogged. Lab work rescheduled. Billing offices negotiated with. Brand contracts reviewed line by line while she posted about taking charge of your life. Just make sure it's not a scam, she'd say. I don't have time to read all that. Sophie's ledger was a patchwork of other people's celebrations. The Johnson wedding. Budget built. Overages fixed. Payment schedules created. Then her own wedding. Venue changed, deposits tracked, refunds calculated. I knew exactly how close she was to overspending. She didn't. Evan's section never ended. A string of small emergencies that never resolved. Loans tracked for restock. Crypto sell versus hold calculations. Credit card minimums I'd paid for my account and logged as loans. I'll square up when I can. When kept moving, that's when it clicked. I wasn't their sister. I wasn't their daughter. I was a system. A free service. Invisible infrastructure holding up carefully curated lives. Without me, my dad would face the IRS alone. My mom would have to read her own contracts and track her own appointments. Sophie's dream wedding would finally come with a real price tag. Evan's next flip would hit the wall of reality instead of bouncing into my bank account. The feeling scared me and thrilled me. At the same time, I held more power than I'd ever let myself believe. They called the fire karma. They stood on the curb and laughed. They kept using me as if nothing had happened. Their words were nothing but smoke. That I couldn't control the fire. I couldn't change who they chose to be that night. But I could control access. Access to my skills. My time. The safety net they treated like a birthright. I was done being the silent backbone of their lives. I was done saving people who wouldn't even offer me a spare blanket when I was standing in front of my own ashes. I added a new section to family balance. Exit plan. Step 1. Identify every account, login, subscription, and spreadsheet I touched. Step 2. Transfer ownership back with proper notice and remove my access. Step 3. Stop giving loans regardless of sob story. Step 4. Stop fixing problems no one thanked me for. This wasn't sabotage. I wouldn't add errors or delete records. I'd document everything, hand it back, and walk away. They believed the universe punished me for walking away from family. What they forgot was this. You cannot stack your entire life on top of someone else and then act surprised when it collapses the second they step out from under it. I sent the group chat message. IT looked almost boring. I wrote that I was stepping back from handling finances, paperwork, and accounts. Over the next few weeks, I'd transfer everything back and remove my access. After that, I wouldn't be available for tax issues, budgets, loans, or medical portals. You'll have everything you need, I added. After that, you'll manage it yourselves. Evan replied first. What? You mad or something? Sophie followed. Is this about a meme? Come on, Rachel, my mom said we can talk about this at dinner. Don't make big decisions over text. Why Dad waited. Then, do whatever you feel you need to, but remember, family should be there for each other. I almost laughed. Instead, I replied once. This is me not being there in that way anymore. Then I put my phone down and got to work. Day 1. My dad's accounting. I logged in, exported every report, reconciled what I could, and created a clean summary. What was due, when, who to pay, which IRS forms applied. Clear subject lines. Simple instructions. I changed the admin email from mine to his and removed my access. Minutes later. Why did I just get an email about logging into this thing? Because it's yours now, I wrote. Everything's up to date as of today. After this, you'll need to manage it or hire someone. You're overreacting, he replied. I didn't respond. Why Mom's medical portals came next. Every bookmark organized. every password saved. A printed list of upcoming appointments and outstanding bills. Instructions on resetting her own passwords. I emailed it all, then turned off every reminder on my phone. That evening she called. Her voice was tight. "Why are you doing this now?" "You know I hate that stuff because it's your health," I said. "You talk about taking control of your life all the time. This is part of that," she sighed. "You're being dramatic over a house that was insured." I almost reminded her what she'd said that night. I stopped myself. "You don't convince people like that with memories. You just step away." Sophie's wedding was the hardest. Her entire wedding existed as contracts and spreadsheets I touched daily. I cleaned the budget one last time, added comments, what was paid, what was pending, which dates couldn't be missed, and forwarded every vendor chain to her email. "You'll want to keep these organized," I wrote. I'm taking myself off the threads after this point. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. I let it go to voicemail. "Rachel, what are you doing? You can't just drop everything. The venue needs final numbers. The florist is waiting on payment. You know I don't understand any of this. You're literally sabotaging my wedding right now." I didn't call back. Evan was last. I pulled up the spreadsheet tracking every dollar I'd floated him. Every short-term loan turned long-term joke. The total made my stomach twist. I exported it and sent one text: "I'm not sending any more money. Ever. Attached is what you already owe me. I'm not chasing you for it. I'm just done adding to it." His replies came instantly. "Come on, Ari, don't be like that. I'm about to flip this inventory. I just need one more bridge." That I shut my phone off for an hour. When I turned it back on. "Seriously? Over a fire you got paid out for? That's cold. You know I count on you. Family doesn't just cut family off." The irony would have been funny if it didn't sting so much. But for the first time in my life, I didn't cave. I stepped out from under the weight and let the structure they'd built on my back finally feel gravity. The pattern of their reaction was almost boring in its predictability. Confusion first, then annoyance, then guilt dressed up as loyalty. What never came, not once, was an apology. No one said, "We were wrong to laugh." No one said, "We failed you." They were upset about my response, not their actions. By the end of the first week, the cracks started to show, and why Dad sent a photo of an IRS notice. Missing forms. Penalties outlined in neat black ink. "What is this?" he wrote. That I stared at the screen, felt nothing. "It's what I've been warning you about for 2 years," I replied. "You'll need to call them or hire someone. I'm not your bookkeeper." Sophie followed with screenshots. Vendor emails stacked like an avalanche. Payment requests. Deadline reminders. Confused questions highlighted in yellow. "I don't know what this means," she texted. "Just tell me what to say back." I typed a response. Deleted it. "You need to read your contracts or talk to your planner," I wrote instead. I stepped back. "Remember?" Midweek, my mom called, breathless and irritated. I missed a lab appointment because no one reminded me. They charged me a fee. That I let the silence sit longer than was polite. "That's frustrating," I said finally. "You might want to put it in your own calendar app. Everyone forgets sometimes." Evan didn't bother hiding his anger. "Thanks. Now I can't restock. You're screwing me over." The truth was simpler. He'd been screwing himself over for years. I just stopped cushioning the fall. I didn't post anything. Didn't subtweet. Didn't turn it into content. That I came home, cooked cheap meals, and opened Family Balance one last time. Under Exit Plan, I checked off each completed step. Next to the final box I wrote, "All responsibilities returned." Under the fire I added one line. 1 year later, the only thing I burned was access. IT felt like closing a loop I hadn't realized was still open. The calls didn't slow down. They multiplied. My dad tried a new angle. "This looks bad. Can you just walk me through it over the phone?" "I told you I'm not handling this anymore," I said. "You need a CPA." He called anyway. I let it ring. The voicemail talked about everything he'd done for me. It never mentioned the night of the fire. Sophie's messages came rapid fire. "The venue says if I don't pay the balance by Friday, I lose the date. The photographer wants the second payment." I thought that was covered. These contracts don't make sense. This is literally what you do. Why are you abandoning me? I stared at that word for a long time. I'd been abandoned barefoot on a sidewalk in front of my burning house. Now I was being accused of leaving them behind. Why Mom shifted tones entirely. One night late, I answered by accident. Her influencer voice was gone. I missed another appointment, she said. I double-booked a brand deal and a specialist follow-up. The doctor charged me for canceling. The insurance portal is a mess. Can't keep track of this. You can, I said. You'll have to. You talk about taking control of your life all the time. Silence. Then her voice sharpened. This is ridiculous. You're punishing us because your apartment burned and you got an insurance payout. You're holding a grudge. No, I said. I'm responding to how you treated me when my life was on fire. There's a difference. I hung up before it could turn into a speech about forgiveness for her followers. A few days later, Evan cornered me outside a coffee shop near my office. He stepped into my path like this was still negotiable. You're really not going to help me? His eyes were wide, genuinely confused. I've got inventory sitting in my living room and no cash to flip it. If I don't sell soon, I'm done. You know that I shifted my coffee to one hand. You were done the day you decided my wallet was part of your business model, I said. I'm not your investor. I'm your sister. He scoffed. Sisters help each other. You're acting brand new because you had a bad month. I thought about smoke in my lungs. The hotel ceiling. The Notion page full of times I'd saved him. I didn't have a bad month, Evan, I said. I had a house fire and a family who treated it like content. And this isn't new. This is me finally catching up to reality. His jaw tightened. You're going to regret this when nobody's there for you. The irony sat heavy in the air. Months passed. The consequences stacked up. My dad lost a long-time client. He missed a licensing renewal. He'd always counted on me to flag. My mom posted less often. When she did, she alluded vaguely to health issues and stress, carefully avoiding the fact that the stress came from late fees and missed appointments she used to hand off to me. Sophie's wedding changed shape. The big ballroom event quietly became a smaller backyard ceremony. The spin was intimate vibes only. I knew the truth. Vendors she couldn't afford, deposit schedules ignored. The week she scaled down, she sent one last message. You win. My wedding is ruined. I hope you're happy. I typed and deleted 3 responses. Then sent one. I don't win because your wedding is smaller, Sophie. I win because I stopped letting you treat me like a tool instead of a person. If you wanted my help, you should have acted like I mattered before everything fell apart. She never replied. My mom made one final attempt. She showed up unannounced at my studio one evening, eyes already shiny. Rachel, we need to talk. Your father is stressed. Your brother is struggling. Your sister is humiliated. This family is falling apart. Is that what you wanted? I didn't invite her in. We stood in the hallway under dull yellow light. No, I said. What I wanted was a family who didn't laugh when my house burned down. Her face hardened. We handled that badly. She waved it away. But holding on to one night for this long, letting it destroy everything, that's on you. You're choosing to let bitterness burn this family to the ground. Anger flared, sharp, but steadier with something underneath it. You call it bitterness, I said. Call it boundaries. I didn't set the fire. I didn't make you pose in front of it. I didn't post quotes about letting go of toxic energy a year later. That was you. She blinked when I said scapegoat. Yeah, I continued. Every time something went wrong, it was my fault, for moving out, for saying no, for not playing along. When the universe handed you a fire, you decided it was proof I was cursed. Not a wake-up call about how you treat people. I'm not carrying that for you anymore. For a second, I thought she might actually apologize. Then she straightened her shoulders like she was back in front of a camera. Someday you'll regret pushing us away. Family is all you have in the end. That might be true for some people. It wasn't true for me. I had a job I was good at. Friends who checked in without needing a crisis. A tiny, quiet apartment that was mine. A lock they didn't control. My own name. My own life. I closed the door gently. Didn't slam it. Leaned against it with my heart pounding. The noise faded after that. Texts came less often. Calls eventually stopped. Birthdays passed without messages either way. The Carters rebranded online without me. Smaller dinners, softer captions about embracing messy seasons and those who matter most. Behind every post were missing pieces. Not my job to fill them anymore. Things got quieter. And better. I budgeted my own money. Saved for things I wanted. Took a weekend trip without asking permission. I renamed family balance to my balance. The old entries stayed. Reminders of what I carried. New ones tracked different things. Therapy sessions, miles run, time with people who didn't ask me to shrink. People love revenge stories where villains end up broke or begging. That wasn't this. The real revenge wasn't watching them crash. It was watching them finally face consequences. Knowing that when their world started to burn, I wasn't holding the extinguisher anymore. If you've ever been the strong one, the responsible one, the cursed one everyone leans on until you break, hear this clearly. You're allowed to step away. You're allowed to stop fixing problems for people who laugh when you're in trouble. You're allowed to set boundaries, even with blood. And why Mom laughed when my house burned down. 1 year later, their world started collapsing. Not because I set it on fire, but because I stopped putting out flames I didn't start. And for the first time, I wasn't standing in the smoke, I was watching from a safe distance, breathing clean air finally.